Hello everyone, my name is Akai Fox and this is another art video. Today's video was very special as I did this with a friend and we did what is called the Red Light Challenge. Now, for us to do this, we took it not only with red lights, but we also took it that step further by having red tinted glasses. So what this means is that for all of the paints you see here, to us they looked gray, black, maybe blue, and it really was difficult to know what colors were what. That one on the right that you see that has kind of a little too much paint, I swore that was green. So what we did is we took 12 paints, we each chose a couple light colors, a couple medium colors, and a couple dark colors. We then divided it one each, so we both ended up with a palette of 6 colors, and we did our first painting with that. I chose this little galaxy pre-done kit, if you will, because I'm doing this with my friend Starlight Embers and I felt it was a little on brand. So we're each using the palette that we had for this first painting. Once we get to the second painting, we then end up switching the palettes, so that way we each get a chance, if you will, to use the colors that each other selected for each of our paintings. Now, I did do this live, and so there are a few redeems I think that may still show up in the recording, but overall we just mostly concentrated on getting our paintings done, chatting with the people who dropped by to watch what we're doing, and we very much asked, please, please, please do not spoil what colors you see on the screen. Now, looking back at this and knowing that we couldn't see the colors that we were picking, we didn't do that bad, to be honest. We both picked a blue for our sky. I will say the stars, once dried and going back over the background, were really hard for me to see and to outline in those red glasses. And I do think my friend ended up with her stars being a lot better shaped. So here we are switching our palettes, and now we are doing something very on brand, a fox. But again, it's interesting to think that we both thought we were picking something that was like a white or a gray, and yet you see her clouds are pink and mine are yellow. These are colors that we would have never purposely selected, and instead this is how it turned out. So I will say again, I thought I was painting with a white, and once things dry there are a few spots that I should go back and repaint a little bit because there's little spots or specks that are missing. But again, it's just one of those things when you're painting and you're doing so slightly visually impaired, the last thing you're thinking about is kind of the quality of your strokes and more or less just getting the paint on the canvas. The colors here, again, I swore I was going in with black bushes, and I think I was like, all right, screw it, I'm just gonna do this gray sky. And it turns out that's not the colors at all that were being selected. As a matter of fact, her and I were joking, like, I know this isn't black because we didn't pick a black, but it looks black. Overall though, I think they turned out darling, and even pulling out the Sharpies so that we could each sign them, we didn't know what colors were which. And I really enjoyed this, not only, you know, doing this with just a friend, but loved the challenge, loved the idea of having a palette, and 10 out of 10 recommend doing this with friends. I will probably do this again at some other point. And I really did like having the pre-fabricated canvases. It meant I didn't have to worry about pre-drawing something like I've done in the past. And I just think they turned out super cute. We had a great time, and so huge shout out to Starlight Embers, and thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great weekend.